between Kenya, Uganda, and the rest of the East African hinterland. And so I want to assure you that we are going to work together. And I know people in the journalist space, and it is good I speak about it here, tried to create an impression that Uganda had said something to the effect that they need to access the sea by all means. Let me assure the naysayers that Uganda and Kenya, the sea through Kenya, and that is why we are not only extending the pipeline, we are also extending the road, and we are also extending the railway, because we believe that this region needs to move as one. For those who want to engage us in negative talk, we want to tell them, please give us a break. We do not have time for negative talk. We have time for progress. We want to work together to create jobs. We want to work together to attract investment. We want to work together to do investments like the one I see here today, the ones we are doing in Kenya and doing in the rest of this region. We want to connect this region so that we can share prosperity, because poverty cannot be shared. East African facility, the steel that is going to come from here, and we appreciate that God has given us resources, and Uganda happens to have the best steel or iron ore reserves. It is therefore befitting that this factory is established here, not just to serve Uganda, but to serve Kenya, East Africa, and the region at large. We currently import in Kenya close to $850 million of steel from the rest of the world. We would be very happy that that $850 million would be in our region if this factory was to supply steel to Kenya. And I am confident that that is how the future is going to look. Let me also commend you, Mr. President, for agreeing to work with us. The ministers were in Nairobi last week, and I have given them appropriate guidance on the need for Uganda and Kenya, public and private, to jointly own the Kenya Pipeline Company, the company that supplies or provides the pipeline for supply of fuel into our region. The government of Kenya will be divesting up to 60 facilities. It is a regional facility. Therefore, as the government of Uganda invests in the Kenya Pipeline Company, I want to encourage Ugandans and East Africans to equally invest, because we will make shares available both to public entities, but more importantly, to citizens of our region, so that we can diversify ownership of the facilities that we have in our region. Secondly, Mr. President, let me also reiterate that the joint investment of the pipeline from Eldoret through Kampala to the border with DRC and to Rwanda is an advantage. The government of Kenya, we have given approval for our two governments to work together to co-invest in extending that line, that pipeline, so that it can serve East Africa as we jointly own that facility. And thirdly, Mr. President, in January, We will be launching the extension of the standard gauge railway from Naivasha to Kampala and onward to join the pipeline from from Malaba to Kampala and onward to DRC. Again, that investment that we will coordinate the two governments is for us to be able to improve transport and logistics in our region so that we can be better competitive as we seek to be a region that works together. Your Excellency, I am very confident. We exported close to 120 billion Kenya shillings to this great country. And the bilateral relations between Uganda and Kenya are solid. Let me assure you, Mr. President, that Kenya is going to work with Uganda and other regional partners for the prosperity of this region, to create a much more competitive region, to make sure that we extend the pipeline, to make sure that we co-invest in the pipeline, that we extend the railway. And Mr. President, next week on Friday, I will be launching the dualling of the road from Rironi near Nairobi that will come all the way to Malaba. As you know, Mr. President, today that road is getting slower as traffic increases. And therefore, we have made the strategic decision to create a highway and dual that road so that we can facilitate faster movement of goods, people, and services.
Called something, that boy what is doing very good things. The investments, the corporate social responsibility, judge the people by what they did. We shall know them by their fruits, not just their words. So these Indians, I'm told Guru is like a reverend or something like that. Are you a bishop or what? He's a priest. He's a reverend Narendra. They are doing a good job, not only in this area, but also in other activities. Now I will support the railway siding to come to the factory. I will support it for sure. And I tell now the Deputy Prime Minister who is here, Rebecca Kadaga, to take it up straight away, how to bring a railway siding to the factory so that the items go from the factory to the railway and go to different parts. Now, what you Africans need to know is the power of the pocket, the purchasing power. You can imagine the money we are giving to foreigners. $500 million a year from Uganda to foreigners. This is a lot of support for them. Kenya, you have had. So if that money remains in our pocket, instead of giving it to others, we shall be much better off. So nobody should tell you that we don't have power. We have power, but we don't use it. The power of the pocket, purchasing power, is power. We have been buying Japanese vehicles ever since 1990. And by the time we came from fighting Yamin, Japanese vehicles had taken over from the British and the German. So I talked to the Japanese, can you come and assemble your vehicles in Uganda? They were not interested. But now, we are making our own vehicles. Do you have them on the screen? You can show them. If you have them. The Chira motors. You don't have it. But we are making our own vehicles, electric vehicles, buses, other types, from beginning to end. So the Japanese now came and say, I want to assemble. I said, no, sorry, too late. I can't allow you. You lost your chance. Because assembling means you bring the same vehicle, knock down, and you just put it together here. The only saving is like 15%. But this shows you the power of the pocket. How much has Africa been spending on Japanese vehicles since 1962, when I started seeing these vehicles coming? It is very important that Africans really wake up and know their interests. I want to salute His Excellency Ruto. He's a real Pan-Africanist. Even other leaders of Kenya, I actually find them more Pan-Africanists than many of the others. Even Museveni, although sometimes we didn't agree, but when it would come to East Africa, he would be very, very East African. Museveni, Kibaki, His Excellency in charge of Kenya, and we are now, you can see the fruits now. Because this is the one who was encouraging Mr. Guru. Yes, Mr. Guru is private sector, but His Excellency Ruto was encouraging him. So we are going to move very far. You have heard what he has said about the pipeline. These roads, the transport system is now irrational. We need to rationalize it. Why is it irrational? Barabara, the road, they are small cars. They are railways carrying cargo. They are petrol tankers carrying petrol, all on the road. So we need to disaggregate, separate. Fuel pipeline, toka kwa barabara. You go through the pipeline. Mizigo, garimoshi, mizigo mikubwa. The train. Barabara, light cargo and passenger. And you heard what he was saying about also the dual carrying the roads instead of just two lanes. So on the pipeline, I thank him and congratulate him. We are going to co-invest in that one together, all the way up to the Congo border, so that we take. And even these people who steal fuel from vehicles, they will not have chance to steal because it is in the pipeline. And we are already working here. So we are going to go up to Kampala, from Kampala to Bwera, Kasese, then to Rwanda, then South Sudan. So the future, what is happening here shows you that the future is very bright. Ebirungi ebisingawo binateera okutuuka.